Berlin Declaration, one of the main features was to win back the people. And the question now is also, did this work out? Was it too early? There were some approaches like what was called Bidenomics, trying to cope with regional structural problems. Despite of all that, Trump has been re-elected. So what do you make out of this? I mean, has this been not a successful attempt, or what do you think?
I'm still flattered with what happened. I mean, I think the Bidenomics approach was a pretty sensible one when it came to the conduct of constructive industrial policies, also with a regional component. But as it turns out, it didn't really succeed in the sense that it didn't win the electoral vote, right? So what I take out of it is probably there were other types of shocks that at that time were just more important to people. I mean, in the US case, the inflation that we have seen, the rising prices for everyday goods, and people not trusting the Biden administration to cope with that problem. And maybe this has basically, swamped everything else. And now it looks that kind of the Bidenomics approach to the economy, the industrial policies, the Inflation Reduction Act, and so forth, that they didn't succeed. That's not my conclusion. I think they were the right constructive type of policy we need, much better than what we see now, right? Trying to re-industrialize the US economy with declaring a tariff war on the rest of the world. I mean, I think this is a destructive approach that just will not succeed. The old approach, I think, could have succeeded. And in a different world, we would have seen a continuation of all of this. Now that didn't happen. And well, probably now the task is to, kind of look through what we have right now, right? And maybe ultimately come back to this constructive approach towards industrial regional policies.
Exactly the question that I wanted to ask. Is there a need to formulate a new guidance, new Berlin Declaration? How would you treat this?
No, I think the key ideas of the Berlin Declaration are still vital and correct. I think we need to reconsider the approach towards shocks. I think what we've underestimated that severe shocks that we see that lead to inflation can basically or swamp everything else. And probably we need to reconsider the approach that we take, to those type of shocks. What will we do if we experience scenarios like this again? What's kind of the progressive response to that? Because, well, I mean, reality is that sort of we've lost that election, and now we have to live with Trump for another 4 years. And with a better approach, we probably could have avoided that, right? Now, in hindsight, it's always easy to say, but this is what I take out of it. But I don't question kind of the Berlin Declaration just because we again lost that election. I think that's where different issues that led to the second Trump victory, and not the failure of Bidenomics or the failure of the Berlin Declaration.
Okay, thank you for the first part.